Hey, hello guys, how are you doing? Yeah, so hello, new came place. How are you doing? I think you're new here. I don't think I've seen you before, but how are you doing? Yeah, so yesterday we didn't. Hello, Yash Rajvashin. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, but how are you doing? Yeah, so yesterday we were struggling with live stream. It didn't go very well, so this is going to be our second attempt and see how things go. But this we're going to try and do a gaming low poly scene, like using some of the references from these as inspiration and see how it goes. So this is going to be more like a beginner's tutorial series, and you can see we are not going to be using a lot of complicated shapes. It's very simple shapes. Nukem plays. Oh, thank you. You were using the same name? Yeah, I saw the donation. I think I'm just forgetting. I should really get better at remembering. But yeah, thank you for that. I really appreciate that, and yeah, thank you for the support. So, how are you doing? Very glad you're joining us again. Yeah, so we are going to be making something here. Not anything in particular. We're just going to use some of these images as reference. And yeah. So Nukem plays. If you're not a patron, so I'm not sure if you're a patron, but I would like, because I'm working on an add-on, and I want to get some people to help me test it. So if you could share your email with me, I could send you the add-on so that you could test it for me. But I'm not sure where you can send it. Send the email, because let me just give you a quick demo on how it works. I'm just if you're interested, I could send it for you. Just for free to test it out, because I need to give it a few tests before I can put it up on the marketplace. So let me just give you a quick demo of how it works. If you have watched some of my videos, let me actually open up a project here that I was testing it on. It's actually not this. Let me get this here. I'll be back when it's available offline. Oh, no problem, man. Okay, Saprotra. Thank you. No problem. So, yeah, so let me just show you a quick demo, and Nukem Place. If you want to give this a test, I would like that would be amazing. But let me just show you how it works. So it's a quick texturing add-on that I'm working on, and basically what it does, it just say you want to. Let's say we want to add this Elon Musk poster. Let me just get rid of this. Let's say we want to add it as a deco here. I think I've talked about this add-on for quite a bit in some of my tutorials, but it was in its earlier stages, but I'm finalizing it. Can you say what you say, but slowly and clearly? Okay, okay, let me try to be slow, because I'm more used to speaking a bit quicker. So what the add-on does is it just makes texturing a bit, it's like cheating in texturing. So say you want to add this here, all you have to do is if you go to the shrink wrap, you can add a shrink wrap and select a target, and then you can just push this onto the wall, and you can see it will start wrapping around the surface like that. And you can see it's in there, but it's on the inside. So if you offset this a bit, you can bring it outside like that, maybe shade smooth, and it's a quick way to texture things. And so for example, right now this looks a bit too clean for this scene because I'm Arabic. Oh, nice. Yeah, so I'm not sure how Nukem plays. I can send this to you, but maybe after the stream I'll try to send you an email and see. I have a Discord, but I rarely use it. So I don't even remember the Discord itself. But so what I'm saying is that if this is just a quick way to texture your scenes without doing a lot of things. So say you want to add more details to this. This looks a bit too clean. You can add, where is my custom roughness? I can add some rough textures to add some grunge maps like that. And you can see you can break up that roughness, and the edges are also too clean, so I can add a custom alpha. Say if I have an alpha map, I don't even need to have an alpha map. You can just find any image. Let me go in my decals and find anything, maybe something like this here, and hit OK, use alpha. You can see it makes texturing a bit, it's like cheating in texturing. So you can see it's a quick way to add decals like that, and I can change this to anything I want. So let's say I want this to be an actual texture, maybe a dart texture. Let's see if I can find something here like walls. Let's get this. Actually it has to be under the material settings here. You just have to find resources, walls, get this, and you can see I can switch it out to something else, and I can use it as, and if I change the alpha mask here, I can also use something different. Maybe let's try this and see. You can see you can use different. Yeah, so anyway, this is not the purpose of the tutorial. This is just a simple add-on I'm working on, and I just want to get it tested a few times before I can have it live on the Blender market. Anyway, let's go into the actual tutorial, into the actual series, and see what we are going to be doing. So, like I said, we're going to be creating a game low poly scene, just using some of these Pinterest images for inspiration. So let me just have them like here. I want to have my time as well, because it makes things a bit interesting. So let me get that. Put that there. So let's start with actually, let me just have it here. So let's start with 10 minutes and see what we can do in 10 minutes. Yeah, so we're not going to copy anything directly. We're just going to use just for inspiration and see what kind of things we can make with this. So yeah, to begin, we can start with a plane. Then go to edit mode. You select the edges, extrude them like that, and this gives us a nice wall. Usually what I like to do is separate the walls from the floor. So I just select the faces, hit P so that they're separate, and I turn on random colors. You guys could also tell me what you're really learning Blender for. I'm still new in Blender. I'm pretty new. That's okay. Everyone, I was new at some point. I was new at some point as well. But so what are you learning Blender for exactly? If you care to share that, share. So this is going to be our floor. I'm just using a solidify modifier to add some thickness to it. And I also have some shortcuts set up for me. So for for example, this wireframe shortcut, you access it under the object data, actually under the overlays here. So I just right click this and then assign to shortcuts, quick shortcuts. I'm learning animation, and I have tried a bit of modeling. Oh, that's a good place to start. If you're doing, it's usually good to do a little bit of everything as you new, so that you can really see what you are mostly interested in before you start specializing. So that's a great thing. So yeah, we want to create an orthographic view. So I'm just going to set my camera from perspective to orthographic, and that should remove all the perspective in our scene. So I just have to I just have to scale this down like that. Now we're going to use cycles for this. So let me switch to that. Have any of you submitted has any of you participated in the dynamic machine challenges. I'll be interested to see some of what you have done. I wasn't able to do anything because I was a bit busy doing some other stuff, working on my add-on and handling channel stuff. So I like how this window is glowing. So what I'm going to do is add that window. So we're going to copy bits and bits from different pieces here. I mean, that's what art is all about. You're really just recycling things from other creators most of the time. So I'm just going to subdivide this like that and there. Hit I twice to insert, and that should give me a nice window like that. Okay, maybe mine is a bit wide, so I can just go in here. Let me turn on change to GPU and also turn on viewport denoising. And so if you want to have a glow effect like that, it's a very easy step. You can use the translucent shader. It's a very nice shader. So you can start with a plane, adding a plane, rotate it. You can use the emission shader, but it doesn't give you, I'm going to show you how it looks versus the translucent. So if we use the emission, let me just make sure that the world is dark like that. If you just use the emission, what you get is not as interesting as using the translucent. So it's just going to be bright pixels emitting light like that. There's not going to be a lot of detail. So, but if you use a translucent shader like this, and then behind it add an area light. Facing directly, you can see it adds us a little bit of detail in the shading. So just make sure this is rectangular and covers the entire window like that. Yes, thank you, Saram M. Sumnil, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. And welcome to the channel. So you can see that now I can just use this. And the great thing about this is that now if I turn off this other light, you can see that the light is coming through here. But the other thing I could do is I could add shapes behind this translucent shader, say a Suzanne head behind it, and as long as it's in front of the light, I should be able to see a soft shadow of the kind of a blood. Let me see if I could see it. If you look closely, I think you can start to see. So you can add in a few details. You see, say you want to have maybe like a silhouette of, make it seem like there is other things in the back there. Yeah. You can see it adds a little bit of detail. You can use it to add in a little bit of detail in there, which is, I think, amazing. And if the light is smaller than the window, you get a transition. You get let me just bring this closer. It creates that nice glowy effect around. Yeah, it's just more detailed, more richer than just using an emission and emissive light. You can design twisted and connected roads. You can design twisted and connected roads in sky as in large cities. Can you do that in another video? Those are simple. Let me first save here. Just to give you a quick demo on how you could do that. This is why I like live streams, because they're interactive, and I could switch between different tutorials or different videos. So let me just save this in here. I won't name it or anything. So if you want to do something like that, it's very simple. All you have to do is, let me first go out of that. All you have to do is you just need a few curves. if you set this to auto, you can use control left click, and then you can make the curves as simple as you want, and then you just have to move them up so that they are three-dimensional like that. And then you can use a plane or any mesh like that. You can design twisted rods connected. Okay, this is what I'm trying to show you. So, and then if you want this to follow this curve, all you have to do is give it an array, increase the count, and then add a curve modifier. Select the curve, but you see this is a distance away from the curve, so it's not really conforming to the curve directly. So what you would do is just select the curve, shift S, so that your cursor is moved to the curve center, and then select the mesh curve, shift S, selection to cursor, and then you should be able to move. And then what you do, you can detail the bridge or road as much as you want. So if you want to give it guardrails, you can do that. And yeah, I don't know if that's what you mean, but yeah, that's one way to do it. Yeah, so let's continue with the gaming channel. I'm losing track of time here. So we are going to see, let's see what other thing we can do. Let's add in some, I saw some nice cornices. So these cornices here, I think they will make the room look a bit nicer. And maybe let's also improve the lighting. I'm just going to add another area light over the surface and make it the size of the room so that we get some soft shadows. And I'm also going to make it a white light, maybe a little bit blue to counter the warm color from the window, and just bring it over the room like that. Give it maybe 100. So that's a bit too bright, so let's see 50. Why you don't read my message? Okay, I think Ahmad Ali, that's what I did that, and I tried to demo what I thought you meant. So let's get something like let's make it a bit like that. Let's try 10, 30, something like that. And let's add in these cornices. Those are very simple. If you have, you can start with a curve. Okay, that's really loud. You can start with a curve. Where is this? And this is going to be this cornice here. And if you go into edit mode, hit V, convert it to a vector, rotate it 45 degrees. I'm just going to scale it to fit like that. You can go to the geometry under profile, give it a bevel like that. So right now we're using the linear preset, but you can use a cornice molding like that, and that should give you, let me see if I change this to flat. Nukem Plays, thanks again. I've got to go, but I would love if you could find a way to email me. I would just send my email in chat. Okay, so my email is a bit public, so let me just you can find my email in on my YouTube channel and send me an email. I will try to get back to you and send you the add-on so that you test it. Thank you again for the donation. I really appreciate it. So this is the cornice. Just going to make it a bit wider by scaling it. Another way we can make our own custom cornice from a curve. So if I start with a curve, just going to rotate it a bit and create the profile I want. So I'm just going to turn this to a vector. Again, Nukem Plays, thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. And if you could send me an email, I'll send you the add-on so that you can check it out. Hopefully give me some feedback on maybe what to improve if you Yeah, so this is going to be a profile, and can just select a few parts here and turn them to automatic. This could also be automatic, and just give us a nice profile. Spooky action at a distance. Can you do more product animation tutorials in the future, like cookie grenade? I did. Okay, I'm always looking for ideas. So thank you for sharing that. I think I'll do that in the next tutorial, maybe even after, because I wanted to have this stream go for 2 hours, and 2 hours is a lot of time for this. So maybe if you stick around, we could do that too. Maybe in the meantime, you could find me some nice ideas that we could try to replicate here and see how we can approach something like that. And so this is our profile for the cornice. So now that we have that, we just change from profile to object and select this. You can see it has already taken up the shape. What is a desgen? What a desgen? I'm not really sure what that is. Maybe I mispronounced something, or yeah, so maybe, I don't know. I think that you can not desgen Ali, Ahmad Ali. I'm not sure what you mean desgen by desgen. So now we have our cornice, but it's facing the wrong direction. So there are a few ways to reorient it. One is just to rotate the actual profile like this, or just mirror it. Control M in the x-axis. We should fix it. Another way is to just select everything and use this, I think, this tilt, and we can rotate it. But I think rotating the profile would be easier. I'm just going to scale this down using Alt S. Hello from Brazil. I like your channel. Good luck. Thank you. Thank you, Misha Pinekitschov. Thank you. And hello from Uganda, East Africa. That's where I'm best, if you didn't know. So I've opened up the curve because actually, let me just delete. I want to delete this segment and this and this. So we have something like that. And, yes. So this is our profile. And we can make the materials from scratch, but I already have made plenty of tutorials on showing how to make materials. So I'm just going to use my asset library add-on. That, by the way, you can get on the Blender Market as well. So I'm just going to use some materials I already have. I could also just borrow the profiles here, but I wanted to show you how to do those. So let me get some brick materials here. I think I could find this in my furniture. So let's go to walls. Spooky action. If you could find me some, if you don't mind, find me some ads that you might want to look at or to recreate. That would be amazing. So that's we can go to them after we're done here and maybe talk about how we could approach some of them. Let me see, what do I have? I should have some walls. Let me make this flow, this material here. Just need to unwrap. And change a few settings. Actually, I think it's supposed to be, yeah, something like that. And then actually for the window, I already have a window. I'm not going to do everything from scratch like I was planning to do. So let's get ourselves a window. So windows. This is the amazing thing about having all about Blender. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing? Let's go to building parts. I have a few windows there, so I'll just borrow from there. I want an SM red room. A red room, like okay. Which kind of red room are we talking about? Because a few different kinds come into my head. So which one are we really talking about? All right, let me work in EV so that everything is a bit faster. I usually like to increase my ambient occlusion distance and to get a more pronounced ambient occlusion. Online sessions is the best. Yeah, I know, because we get to talk and interact, and you could ask questions, and yeah. So I also have some more wall materials that I could use here. Have this concrete material, just going to use that. This needs to be unwrapped. We have a nice wall like so, and actually this looks even super great, amazing. And if you're using cycles, sorry, Eevee, we could just use animation and emissive material to block out the light in the back here. So I can use a new material. Unreal Studio, I'm guessing you are into game development. As a 3D modeler, how do you feel when you saw a complex design weapon? Well, yeah, if the work is amazing, I guess I would feel amused and I guess entertained maybe. That's a kind of a difficult question to answer. I'm not sure what exactly you mean. How I would feel. Nice isometric design. Thank you, Saldanha. Burning Trap. Hello all from Dublin. Happy blending. Yeah, hello there. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we get, like, you can give this some warm color. Oh, what we could do, let's reduce on the emission here, something like that. Let's see, what else can we add? I have some furniture that I rarely use, so let me just get that. I have furniture handles, I have chairs, I have some nice furniture, I think, so let's get that. Under collections, I have, actually it's not in here, it's in the Archviz. Have some sofa sets, yeah, even have a gaming chair, so let's start with that. Unreal Studio, yeah, I think I do remember you, yeah. You have been around sometime. I want a room like that. Robin McDuck, what is stopping you from making it? Or do you mean like you want it for real in real life? That usually depends on your wallet. And as artists, we don't really need to have that much to kind of at least get what we want in our visualize at least what we want in real life. So let's see, we can add some gaming light. Let me add a strip of light here, or what could be, let me first add a table. I think I have it. I could also use this. What should we use here? I think usually gamers don't really have a lot of furniture. They really have very simple basic furniture. So I'm guessing I'm going to add, we already have a gaming chair here. So let's see, what can we add? Yeah, I know the title of the video said low poly, and we are getting to we're actually just making a high poly version of uh, a gaming room. So what do you think we could add here? So I think we need a table. What meaning wallet? Wallet, I mean your how much you have in money, how much money you have. That's what I mean by wallet. And so I think we can add a light strip around here. Those are usually what gamers have. I don't play a lot of games anymore. I'm mostly playing Age of Empires and what what is the other game? And Burnout Paradise City, which is an old game. All the games I'm playing now are usually very old games. I'm playing Burnout Paradise City, which is a racing game produced in I think 2009, and Age of Empires. I'm playing the definitive edition, so it's not that old, but the game itself was produced quite years back. I think it was 90s, 19 something. Yeah. Then it takes up a lot of my time, so I rarely game or do anything like that. Robin Mako, pot of a plant. You want us to add in a pot of a plant? You know what? We actually have a lot of plants. So if I could go, I have a few plants here, and we have, I think I also have, yeah, you see, we have a pot here of plant. So we can, where do you think we can add that? So I think we can add one at the window here, but we would need a cornice. So for that, let me first actually get the pot I want. I have some plants in here. I have a few. I have this here. Just going to first settle it there. Let's add like let's add this as well, a nice bush there. I want them to be sitting on a an extrusion here, so we're going to add that in a moment. Okay, Blender is hanging, and okay, this could be because I'm loading in quite a, okay, so not sure why it was hanging, so let me make sure I'm saving. Anyway, so spab that live in there. So yeah, great. We're adding a few things that make the scene a bit live, make the scene alive. So let's add some, how is it called? I'm not sure how it's called, but just going to add that. So let me get my, I think it's under my building parts. This is the amazing thing about having a library of assets. You can just find something and you reuse things you have already created. Yeah, this is what I meant here. So I just have to create that, just scale it, and we have a nice window. And I think I can also add a frame around this window to make it look even super nice. And to do that, I can also just start with, let's see, what frame do we need to use? A cornice like this, or should we create one from scratch? Let's create one from scratch. We can just start with a, you can also give me ideas on what to add, what else we can add. So we can create a frame like here, just insert and extrude just a little bit, then bevel this edge using Ctrl B. I need to apply the scale, bevel the edge just a bit like that, and then maybe even change the width, actually not the width, but the shape to be kind of in like that. Gives us a nice detail. Just want to shape it around this, so I'm just going to drag that in, select this, and then scale. Yes, something like that. Okay. What I don't like is how it's too plain in the window there. Is the add-on free or? Yeah, it needs wallet, man. I need to pay some bills, so it's not for free. It's not free. It's a paid add-on that you can get from the Blender market. But it doesn't include the assets. It's just a way to manage your assets. Does selling 3D models online really worth it? Yeah, it can. It has supported me in a while. It brings in some good change for me. So, but you need to have a lot of models. You can see if you look at my page, you'll see that I have over 500 models. Yeah, so you can see this is my page, and instead of having all these models seated on my computer, I just upload them here and yeah, make a few cents from them. But yeah, a nice passive income stream are there, and even when I'm making tutorials, I end up uploading the projects here, and people get them because they want to explore the project and see how I created it. Yeah, so let's see what else could we add in here. Yeah, I don't want how this looks. I'm just going to change this, add a texture, an image texture here. I'm just going to find some, I think if I go to my skies, I just need a background image to use. Let's see, let's just look for Google and look for trees. Just want to put something in the background. The video will be uploaded in the channel. Yes, it will be uploaded in the channel after, so you can watch the playback. But if you want to ask any questions, this is the easiest way to do it when I'm live. Yeah, so I'm just going to use this image as the emitter. Actually, this is not it. It's here. So we have something there. You can even just reduce it just a bit so that if I bring it back, we should be able to see some parallax in the window. You can see, which is nice. Isabel Gonzalez, how are you doing? I'm not sure if you're thanking me or TTWTT. I'm not sure who that is. But anyway, yeah, if you're just getting here, it would be amazing if you left a like just to help out the stream a bit. So let's see, this is 100, 1000. Actually, that's a bit too much. So let's say 100. Just the effect at the beginning of the video, I would love to use it in animation, but I have no idea where to start. I sent a link. Okay, where did you send the link? Because I'm not seeing it here. Okay, I think we are being a bit slow, so let me pick up pace a bit. So let's add a table. I just have to go to my furniture park tables, and I have a few here. I have, this could be a TV table set or TV table. I have a TV actually, a TV model, but let me just show you how this looks. I just rotate it 180. I think it would look better if we added an RGB strip down there just to emit some light. So if I add an area light, does Blender support AMD GPU for render in cycle? I have AMD GPU and sometimes it crashes when I render big projects in cycles. Yeah, if it renders even just a single frame, it means that it's supported. But that could be a bug leading it to crash, or your computer is just running out of memory. So, but I'm sure that Blender does support AMD. Otherwise, would have a lot of complaints in the community because AMD, a lot of users have AMD. Let me see. I want to use this as a light. I need to rectangular. After YouTube, a spooky distance. Where exactly? Can you just leave it in the link in the chat? I think it would be easier for me to find it there. See, I think that looks super nice. And this wall is a bit too dirty, so I'm just going to make it much more cleaner. I sent it in the chat, not sure why it doesn't show up. Okay, maybe it... Okay, I sent it in chat, not sure why it doesn't show up. Okay, let me see if I could bring up Discord, my Discord, because... Okay, I want to see if there is somewhere I could have you post it. Let me see, because I have a website that I rarely update. Search just another card on YouTube. So okay, let me see. Let's see. Just another. You mean this here? Oh, I've seen this. This was a really nice, well-made animation. This was very well made. So where exactly are these here? Let me that. Let me see. So this looks like procedural. Okay, this looks like a procedural noise, but I'm tempted to say that maybe he used a texture. I'm not sure if you guys mind if I switch between different things, but I'm also tempted to see how he did this because it doesn't look that complicated. I think the best way to approach it is to find a crack. Let's see, crack texture. Let's see if we can find something with a good resolution. Some nice cracks, and then we just use actually this would be better, but yeah, let's try this and see. let me just, we can continue this later. I'm just interested in seeing how this is done. But if you guys want us to go back to the other tutorial, we can jump back to that. But I just want to do a quick show demo on how to do something like that. So if you want to use procedural textures, I think getting something like this, these kind of cracks, would be a little bit difficult in Blender. So I think he used a texture as well. So could you share your Discord server link for more updates? Yeah, I have Discord, but I rarely use it, and I'm not even sure if I know what the Discord is. So after the stream, I'll make sure to keep it updated and create a more organized version and a more organized Discord that I'll share. Because currently the one I'm using, I'm not really active there. How did you get that asset library in the menu, please? This is just an add-on, my own add-on that I created, but you can download it on the Blender Market. I guess there should be a link in the description of this live stream. Yeah, so spooky action. This is how I would approach this. This is not. He might have approached it differently, but this is how I would approach it. I could start with a high resolution texture. I guess let's try finding something like that, because this is not a good texture. So if you go to textures.com, they have some nice images or textures. So let's look for cracks. Or better, I think lightening, if I could spell it, lightening image would give you better results than cracks, because it has more detail. So you just find something like this. Maybe I'm going to show you how you can blend multiple versions to create something detailed. So we don't have to create something exactly like what he did, but if you have, say, a few versions, you mix them together with a mix node like this. Maybe blend them using a multiply or add. Let's see, mix them. So screen, I think it's screen. Yeah, and just rotate one using texture coordinates. So I'm just going to rotate this. The problem is it's a bit, it's not tiling very nicely. But basically, the reason why you would want multiple versions of this is so you have multiple cracks. So let's first go back to the animation and see how it plays out. Thanks, Chandar. Thank you. That will really help support the channel. So this is it, and basically, let me just show you quickly what approach I would use it. So then you would use this with a car RAM to just have all the details. And if you have a better resolution image, this would be thin, and then you would use, say, an emission shader, and maybe a diffuse shader. A diffuse, mix the two, and then you would use this here to blend the two. And I think this should be up, and this should be dark, like that. And this you'd give any color. So for him, he was giving it a red glowish color. So we could also do that, something like that. Maybe, can you critique my work? It's on Reddit. I usually don't like critiquing work because it has that negative, and people don't really like that a lot. So, but yeah, if you want that, maybe I could do that later, maybe in a different stream. So you can see right away, you can see that if we animate the position here, this position, let me see, you can get a nice effect. But another way you can animate that is, say you have a texture, what is it called? A gradient texture. Let's first preview that with a radio, I think it's a spherical shape. If you have an empty to control the position and scale of that, you can use a texture coordinate mapping using object. Just select the empty, and this will let you control the positioning of that circle. You can also use it to scale or scale up or scale down that. And then what you would do, since we have this, all we need to do is mask this here. Let me show you. So we have this here, and we have this. So what if we get a convert math node, use one as value 1 and the other one as value 2, we can subtract one mask from the other using the subtract option. And see, I think it's the other way around. So let's see, if we subtract this from this, you can see we get something like this. But I think this might need to be inverted so that those are white and these areas are black, or we can just invert. Let's try using different operations. Let's try multiply. Yeah, multiply would be better. So you can see that I start up with a small, so you can make, I'm not sure if this is spooky action, if this is what you're saying you wanted. So I can even move this up, and it would give me that nice animation. So if I have the camera animated and closer to the action here, let me zoom in quite a lot. Give it some slight animation coming in like that. Let's say 86. And also animate this. You can see it gives that illusion that the veins are generating, and if we preview the entire shader using this as our factor, you see what we have. And then all we have to do, since we have this mask, we can even just get rid of this diffuse and use a principal shader. And let's just give it a moment to read. Okay, so this would be, we can use a PBR material or PBR textures for this. So if I Control T, look for some PBR materials, I have some nice concrete or some nice rocks like this. So they can have that illusion that or that effect that they are kind of cracking. Yes, I can use that. It's a good starting point. Oh, great. So yeah, you can also, to build on top of this, you can also just use the same mask that we have just created here, which is, I think, this here, to be, if you're going to use cycles to render this, you can use that as a displacement with, let me see, I rarely use cycles because it's computational heavy, but if you go into subdivision surface, if you add a subdivision surface, there is an option. Let's go with simple, subdivide this a few times. If you go to cycles and GPU experimental, there is the subdivision option. You can use that to to derive the displacement of this. And I think after you turn on experimental, you should be able to see that feature here, adaptive subdivisions. I think that's what it's called. And those subdivisions will be rendered in the displacement. And let me see if that's the case. There's a good tutorial on that. I think Blender Guru has a good tutorial on that. I'm not very familiar with with using subdivisions in cycles. But there's a good tutorial on that. I forgot how to do it. But let me show you a different way, a much easier way with Eevee. It would also work in cycles, but without the displacement or the subdivisions here. It's just going to use a normal map. Kadil Sugar, thank you too. Thank you for being around as well. So we could just use this mask as a displacement. But you can see we already have a normal map. Let me actually get rid of this displacement since we are not going to use it. So you can see we have a normal map here. So we can mix it with a convert bump, vector bump map, and use this mask here as a height map and connect it to the normal map here. Okay, let me see where does it connect. Normal map. Okay, it's supposed to be the normal map connected to the bump map, and then this connected to the normal map. And now if we just preview just this principal shader, you can see the cracking there, and it's also animated, so you can see that we get those cracks. And if you want to be even more fancy, you can still use this mask to add in quite a lot of detail. So usually cracks are a bit darker to indicate for depth, or you can use a color mix RGB and use this as a mask. And I see this here that is going to the base color. You can fix that into color 1. Live Jesus V, thank you. So you can use this to make these a bit darker, this cracked area a bit darker, and they are dark but not too dark. You can see the animation is still there. We can add a convert math node here between the multiply and the factor to make this darker. If you use, I think, power, you can just make that area a bit darker. And now if we just preview this, you can see how the cracks start to propagate. And now combined with this emission, it just makes it seem like you have maybe lava, the cracking happening, something similar to this. So this one might have a little bit more detail. As you can see, there is more animation inside the cracking that you can achieve with. So we have this emission. You can add a noise texture. So texture, noise texture. And if we preview this, do you know any add-on for making hard surface models for free? I think there is a few add-ons, but I can't remember any names right now. But I'm sure there is some. But free add-ons are usually not the best, because most of the developers who want to make a bit of money, so if they are putting out something free, they usually don't keep it updated, because updating something like that is it takes a lot of time. So yeah, we can use another empty. This time let's use a circle, like a cube, an empty cube, and to control the positioning of the noise that is going to run. So you see that inside noise going in, that is running underneath the surface. To do that, that is what we are doing here. So we can do something like that. And we can control the movement using this object here. Or better, instead of using an object to control this, we can just animate these values even directly. So I want to animate them going left to right, and I'm going to show you why I'm choosing to animate them manually instead of using an object. So go like that, and you can see we have that animation. So I'm just going to make sure that this is set to vector. So we have that animation, and what I'm going to do is duplicate this entire set of nodes using Shift D. You know what, since we are not looking at this, let's expand, and I'm just going to change the details just a bit, maybe reduce on the, let me first preview this, make this less detailed, change the scale, make it less detailed, increase the roughness. So we also want to give this the same animation, so starts there and continues on like that. So that goes like that, and this is a bit faster. Then we can blend the two. I'm just using Control Shift and then left or right drag from one node to the other to blend the two nodes like that. And if you see that now it's like we have more than one layer, it's like we have depth in the animation. It's like clouds being animated, one layer of clouds running over another layer of clouds. And we achieved that by animating one layer of clouds at a different speed from another. And if you blend the two, you get a nice detail like that. And again, what we are trying to achieve is that cracking effect, that movement that you see there. So since we have this mask here, we can use that as color 1, and then this as color 2. And I think we can use a color ban usually. Let's see, color ban. Where is the color ban? Usually is enough to blend the different. Let's try this. Let's see, color dodge. I want that detail to be in, or what we can do is just use a mix, have this as a factor and this as color 1. If we make this dark, you can see that now we're getting some detail inside that we are seeing like a stream of detail flowing inside there. And if you want, you can use a math node here, maybe with a power to get more contrast. Or so you see that maybe you can make this even more contrast, give this a little bit more contrast using a color ramp so that we see those details. Yeah, so you guys, if you're enjoying this, it would be very great to leave a like, and you can also give me feedback on what you want to watch later. That would be amazing. Yeah, so you can see we have maybe the contrast is a bit too high. And now we can just use that as the factor. This is still compiling, but basically that's it. What is left is just let me get rid of this light. Where is that light? Get rid of this light. And if you're using cycles, then you don't really those veins would be enough to light up everything. Maybe just yeah, so if you spend a little bit more time on this, I can get it to look even much better than I've managed to do here. So yeah, I'm not sure if Spooky Action is still here, but that's how you can do something like that. It's just layering more detail over more detail until you get what you want, and then you would add in some camera shake. I love Blender, Fraz Ahmad. That's great to know. Most of us here do love Blender. So yeah, if you're here, Spooky Action, that's how you do something like that. So let's go back to the let me just save this. Let's go back to the gaming room, which I was creating. Yeah, so that's how you do it. We're getting back to the, I think this is the project. Yeah, if you have any further questions, you can ask me and I'll see if I can answer them. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so we're continuing with making the game room, and we were adding in furniture, and yeah, I have actually some good gaming controllers. I just have to find them. I think it's there in my furniture. So electronics, I have an Xbox here, an Xbox, I think it's the Xbox X something, so we can add it in there. Okay, this is way big than the actual size of the Xbox, and I think it looks better in white. Make editable. So this is the Xbox. Actually, I don't want it to be editable. I just want it to be an empty. Just scale it down. I don't really remember the size of the thing, so I'm just going to assume it's about there. And I also have, I think, hello Rohit Sony, thank you. You can add in a light. There. Okay, this is too big for the scene. Add in a point light. Okay, I'm not sure why the room looks a bit too dirty here, so I'm just going to select all my lights, Shift G type, and place them in a new collection called lights. Just see how every light I have in the scene is affecting things. Okay, so this here is making things look a bit too dirty for me, so maybe this is nighttime, so just going to reduce the strength of this, something like that. Now, instead of having direct light coming in like that, I'm just going to change this, rotate this around to face down, make it a bit down. So we have something like that. Okay. So we have something like that. Then let's see, 10. I don't want a lot of light coming in. Okay. Okay, this light here is a bit too much. So let's use about 10. Can you add a sterilize? Can you add sterilized or animated type shader for render? I tried to download sterilized texture, but it don't look real. Can you explain? Well, I'm not very big on sterilized stuff. I haven't done anything specific, so I would have to first get familiarize myself with that before I can make anything out of it. Okay, I don't like how this light is coming in. Just doesn't seem to fit the overall look or aesthetic that we're going for here. Let's see how this looks in cycles, maybe. Okay, not bad. It could be better. Let's add in those screens. Others should be simple. We can start with a plain. Actually, we don't even have to do everything from scratch. I have some, if I go into my activities, actually in my furniture, I have some picture frames that I can turn into a TV. So if I go into my furniture, decos, I have a picture frame that I can turn in. That's the amazing thing about technology. The more advancement in technology we get, the more easier our jobs get as 3D modelers, because they're just simplifying every object. TVs now are just flat planes, and I don't really have to do much work, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, as then you don't really get a lot of work as a 3D artist, because what you're creating is not that complicated, or they're not going to pay you as much. So I like this here. So what I'm going to do is just select this this surface here. Last question: how can I control noise in cycles? I tried to denoiser, but it looks sometimes blurry. Yeah, that's going to depend on how much samples you use. So if you increase the samples here, and I use the viewport denoising, or use the denoiser, it will try to reduce the noise in your scene, but that is also going to increase on your computation power. So that's a trade-off. Just going to use an emission shader here, just similar to this. You can just use a simple emission shader here. Maybe Just one. The bevel was a bit quite big, and just going to have the same 3 computer setup as that. Okay, these are not. These are just going to be monitors instead of TV screens. So this guy is going to be a streamer as well. So I think this would be too big for that. Has some vertical monitors like that. Use denoising albedo in denoiser in compositor to have less noise. Yeah, so there are a few tricks you can use, but overall, most samples are always going to give you better denoising than not using that. So I have a gaming controller here, so that I can just place that in. You can see it's well made. So this one was not made by me. I have a team of artists that help me with making 3D models if I don't have time when I'm working on other stuff, programming and other things. So this was made by one of my team, one of my artists on my team. Still building up some shaders here, but it's just taking a few seconds. Okay, it's taking its time, but yeah, this is the controller, and should have that there. I always have trouble importing Blender file into Sketchfab for project. Is there any way to import less dense geometry in Blender to Sketchfab? To SketchUp? I'm not very familiar with SketchUp. I don't really use it a lot, so I'm not the best person to answer that. So we need 2 controllers. How does someone join your team? Well, these are just friends, local friends here, and yeah. So I just meet up with them, and then we just have a discussion on what to make. So yeah, and I don't know why you would want to join my team, because I don't really pay that much. I don't really have that much money to pay you. And some of them are just my students. Some of the models they make for me are just simple assignments that I give them, and yeah. I also have this rag here, but it renders best in cycles, so I will just leave it for now. And let's see, what else can we add in here? I think we can add in some curtains. Yeah, so I was trying to make this low poly, but I guess, yeah, I won't be doing that. And let me bring back my light here. Let's see if I make this more powerful and see. Make it 100. You know. And these screens also need to be emitting light. So I'm just going to give them some nice lights. Like that. Can get rid of that. I think our room is starting to come out a bit nice, looking a bit nice. The other thing we can add in here, actually, I don't like how the walls look, so let's just try a different color. Maybe make them a bit rough. You know what, you guys, I know a lot of you want to go and watch the the Punisher. I don't really know how to pronounce this guy's name, but the Punisher's Dynamic Machine Challenge. So I'm going to end the live stream here so that I can also go check out his live stream. Watch some of these amazing renders. It's just amazing. And I know some of you submitted your work, so we can start the live stream tomorrow there, and I'll see you then. Maybe I can meet you in the chat there. Thank you.